Hi, it's me. It's the 20th of October 2020 and this is the latest Built From Scratch episode. Yesterday morning I spent the first couple of hours of the day drawing a design of our new bathroom. So nothing to do with business at all and rather frustrating, but it had to be done. So there was no avoiding that. I then got around to having an initial look at Authority Hacker Pro and I spent a little bit of time dabbling with the idea of putting together a sort of comprehensive review of it as I went through the process of using it. But I can tell you at this moment in time, I have just decided I'm not doing that. But I'll get back to that in a minute because it's part of actually a kind of bigger change. So I made the yesterday's Built From Scratch video and then by the time I'd done all that, it was kind of halfway through the day. But I then moved on to trying to set up the Amazon Affiliate WordPress plugin. The first step of which was signing up for an Amazon Associates account, partly because obviously you need one if you're going to be an affiliate for them, but specifically because in order to use the Affiliates WordPress plugin you need to have an API key, which essentially is a unique ID number that you give to the plugin so that it can talk to the Amazon Affiliates API and Amazon will know which of their affiliates it's sending information to, essentially. However, I came across a significant stumbling point in doing so, which is that on the sign up, or rather in the sign up process, it says that you have to have 3 qualifying leads. You need to have generated 3 qualifying leads to Amazon from your web property in order to get access to the API. So I think therefore there must have been a change of system since the Authority Hacker article was written that suggested using the Affiliate WordPress plugin, because it was a fairly comprehensive article and no mention was made of the fact that you need to have an already active Amazon Affiliates account with some level of traffic coming through it. So I searched around a bit on the Authority Hacker blog for further information about that, but there was no mention. The specific thing I was searching for, is something called Sidestripe, which is the name that Amazon give to their tool that kind of replaces or is the more basic stepping stone towards API access, whereby once you've signed up to the Amazon Affiliates account, if you then log into Amazon itself using that account, you get a bar at the top of your screen which gives you some options for generating links to whatever product you're looking at. So in other words, it makes it easy for you to just cut and paste a link to a product and paste it into your site, which is helpful, of course. You know, it is going to make it relatively easy to put an affiliate page together with dynamically updated information about the stuff that you are referencing. But the problem is that I wanted to do it in the sort of bigger, more full-on way that the Amazon affiliates, or sorry, the Amazon Associates WordPress plugin allows for, and presumably is why it's suggested on the Authority Hacker blog, rather than doing it kind of piecemeal, which is what you're forced to do, I think, if you're using Sidestripe. So I searched for that and didn't find much information about it. It was mentioned in that 2017 article, was it? No, sorry, it was written in an Authority Hacker blog article from 2017, but that's not the comprehensive one written by Perrin. It's a different one, and I think that predates the advent of Sidestripe. So there was no more information about that. And then it's briefly mentioned in another article from 2020, which is a review of various affiliate programs. So although it's mentioned, it's not explained in any depth, and there's no explanation therefore of how it may or may not relate or compare to the use of the WordPress plugin. So I opened a support ticket with the people behind the WordPress plugin, because at this point I was kind of a little bit confused in the sense that I'd just signed up for Authority Hacker Pro, and I was expecting that if they've got a blog article that does a thorough run through of how to set up an Amazon affiliates site, including talking about the Amazon Associates WordPress plugin, I was assuming that there would be even more complete content on the same topic with the same sections within it inside the Pro account. So I was a bit confused searching around and finding, as far as I can tell, not only a lack of updated information about the plugin, but also no blueprint, as they call them, for the setting up of an affiliate site at all, or at least not in the same sense as the step-by-step blog post does it. Admittedly, Authority Hacker Pro is all about building authority affiliate sites, so don't get me wrong, there is loads of really in-depth information about how to do stuff to do with that. But not exactly, or at least not referencing this plugin is what I'm saying, I suppose. What there is in there is the authority site system, which is their kind of beginner package. You get it for free, or well, not for free really, but rolled into the Pro account. And that in itself is a step-by-step run through of how to set up an affiliate site. But it doesn't mention Sidestripe as far as I can see. Anyway, sorry, I don't really mean to turn this into a moan about the Authority Hacker Pro thing. From what I've seen looking around that so far, it is actually pretty good, and it's going to be useful, I'm sure, but it just didn't really help out with this particular issue. So, sorry, I forget if I've already mentioned, but I opened a support ticket about this with the people who make the plugin, and they got back to me just this morning saying you definitely do need API access to use this tool. There's no way it can kind of use Sidestripe to achieve the same thing. I suppose I knew that the whole point of using an API is that another computer can talk to the Amazon computer and do bulk processing of information, whereas Sidestripe clearly is a manual user interface to allow a human one link, one product at a time to generate that same kind of information. But I suppose what I was kind of hoping is that their product, their plugin, might have an option whereby you could generate the physical layout of one of their product tables, and then you could just copy and paste the links into it. So you would end up with the exact same thing as the product tables that the plugin creates using the API, but it would just be slower because you'd have to populate them manually. I would have been fine with that until I get these 3 qualifying leads, but apparently it's not something they offer. So what this all means is, quite annoyingly, it looks like I'm going to have to cobble together my pages until I can get these 3 qualifying leads, which I suppose might be no big deal. I mean, there are ways you could speed that up. I guess I could just call people that I know who have got Amazon accounts and give them the money to buy products having visited my site first. I guess Amazon have got algorithms in place to look for behaviours like that and disqualify such leads. However, 3 is not a large number. So if I were to call people from different geographical areas and ensure that they have long-standing Amazon accounts that they've made multiple legitimate purchases on before, I think that would probably work. The relevance of only 3 leads being necessary is that if you had to do this 100 times, any patterns in the incoming leads would be more apparent to a computer. Like, for example, that they're all from the same country. Not that that in itself would be likely to raise any red flag, but I don't know, if they were all from the same postcode or zip code if you prefer, that might disqualify those leads. But when it's only 3, you'd have to be pretty crazy to write an algorithm that would disqualify those leads on that basis, because you may just legitimately get 3 leads from the same area. So that's a possibility. Another is that I think, as far as I'm aware, Amazon has no problem with you using paid channels to create traffic to your website. In fact, it will probably be quite difficult for it to know that that was even happening. But I don't think they have a problem with that. So I could just pay for adverts to get people to the site until those 3 leads are done, which would certainly speed things up quite a lot and probably wouldn't cost a huge amount. So that's also an option. The reason why I might consider speeding things up a bit is because I don't really want to invest much time in learning how to use Sidestripe and use it well to create good looking, high converting pages if the second I get my account authorized for the API, I'm going to dump it and start using the WordPress plugin, which definitely is what I'm going to do. So actually, as I'm saying this now, I'm kind of thinking through it properly for the first time, and I think I probably will use one of those methods just to get this done so I can move on. It's still annoying. I'm still going to have to use Sidestripe, and I'm still going to have to create those pages, and I'm going to have to probably make them look fairly reasonable. Not least because I think of those 2 methods, I will probably prefer to go for the paid traffic route. I don't quite have the courage of my convictions when it comes to the idea of just getting people to click through for me. I think you would probably get away with it. And also, it's no huge deal if you don't, because I assume you can just sign up again with different credentials. I've got a couple of bank accounts, which I would have thought would be the main giveaway if you were trying to sign up again, having just been blocked. Maybe they would do it just on name, date of birth too. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. I'm rambling. The point is, I'll probably just go the paid traffic route. So that was about it really for yesterday. I did watch a couple of YouTube videos about how to use Sidestripe when I realised that was probably going to have to happen. And it certainly looks simple. I mean, that's for definite. So I therefore, I think what I'm probably going to do to put these few initial pages together is I'm going to not build a not build a content table, I don't think. I'm just going to put links within the body text of the article, probably, without putting too much thought into it. Just write a paragraph or two about a product, link to it, write another couple of paragraphs about another one, link to that. Maybe at the top of the page have a sort of executive summary of what the page is all about, and not mess around with formatting too much, essentially. On the basis that in order to just get this done, I don't mind putting a significant chunk of money into paid ads, and even if the conversion rate is terrible, getting 3 leads hopefully is no massive deal. So that is it, apart from to announce a significant change in what I'm doing with these videos. So I started thinking about this last night, and I have spent a bit of time going over it, because Built from Scratch is my main platform. In fact, it's my only platform for attracting some kind of attention to the website. As things stand, that is. I've got various plans for the future which will be a bit more lively and interesting, but they're going to require resources to execute. So for now, this really is the only thing the site's got going for it in terms of me being able to put something out there and say to potentially interested parties, you may want to know about this, mention it and link. But the fact is, it's taking up quite a lot of my time, and time is absolutely at a premium at the moment. I have iterated things quite a lot, and I've got it down to the point where in its current format of making a video every working day, I'm probably only spending probably just under an hour a day doing that, and then probably about another day a month put aside for the processing and posting of the various media forms that are generated. So it's not a huge amount of time, but it is still fairly significant. That probably amounts to about 20% of my time, maybe even a little bit more. And I think that's exacerbated a bit by the fact that even if I'm only spending that amount of time actually in the business of recording and editing the videos, there's probably a bit more time around it that is lost due to just the interruption of workflow, because it does take a little bit of brain power switching between tasks. So all in all, I've decided to decrease the number of videos that I'm going to make from 1 per working day right down to, I think, and this is subject to change over the next few hours as I think about it more, but I think I might just do 1 a fortnight for a while at least. It's not actually going to change things too much because I am still going to make notes every day as I go through the day. So when I come to make a video, I'll still have everything written down just like I do at the moment. And if I'm only doing 1 video, for example, once every 2 weeks, I'll be willing to dedicate significantly more time to making that video, of course, than I am at the moment. So potentially 1 or 2 hours, and that will give me a fair amount of time to go through what will be a substantial amount of notes at that point. So I'll still be pretty much covering everything I'm doing. This whole built from scratch experiment is still going to exist. However, there will, I'm sure, be a natural change in the exact depth to which I cover things. Because I am going to want to skip through those notes quite rapidly. And I imagine I'll just change things like if there's a task or a thing that has happened in multiple parts, perhaps I start doing something one day and then a few days later realise I made a mistake or want to make a change and do it differently. I will probably talk about that as one thing that happened and just briefly introduce how I initially did it and then quickly how I changed it and then wrap that up, rather than doing what I'm doing at the moment, where I'll talk in some depth about the thing that I've decided to do today and how I did it, and then when it changes, talk in some depth about how and why it's changed. So it will kind of speed things up a little bit. So there's 2 benefits really. First is the significant time saving. That's the primary, the thing of primary importance. But secondly, it probably will make these videos a bit more watchable, because I'm fully aware of the fact that in their current format they are pretty long versus what I'm actually talking about and the level of interest there is there. The reason I'm not too concerned about that is because the purpose isn't really to build a big viewership, listenership. It's just to provide a basis for kind of link building, essentially. But I feel like because of the amount of time I'm putting into it, it would feel better if there was also a chance of building up a bit of an audience. And if that's going to happen, they need to be an awful lot more snappy and entertaining and engaging than this. That is for sure. So that's a secondary benefit. And the only disbenefit is that it goes against what I initially planned to a degree, in that the documenting of this process won't be quite as in-depth and granular as it has been so far. And that is a shame to a degree, because whilst it's a bit kind of over the top and boring, what I was thinking was, just imagine 5 years from now, 10 years from now, whatever, imagine I've made a success of it, I'm loving work, making loads of money, achieving the things that loads of people every year hope to achieve by starting up a business. In that context, these videos might have a lot more interest to some people out there, because I would no longer be some weirdo sitting in his room making videos about the problems and issues around, the first few months of setting up a business and trying to do a bit of affiliate marketing and stuff like that, I would be the successful business person who is worth listening to, and has made these slightly peculiar startup videos, which may now be worth listening to, because perhaps hidden within them are some clues as to why I've become successful. So that was the thinking. But, you know, like I say, I am still going to be doing them. I am still going to be making the daily notes. And so most of the potential wisdom here, and I am stressing potential because, you know, who knows if there's any wisdom here or not. The whole thing could just crash and burn, and these videos will never achieve anything for anyone. But the potential wisdom will still mostly be there. A few things might get missed out because I'm skipping over things relatively quickly from now on, but not much. And final point, and then I'm going to stop. There may actually be a benefit derived from this change in terms of, you know, if I do make it and people do end up watching them, because by cutting down the overall length of filming, it might mean that more people watch more time of it, and therefore any usefulness derived from it is more likely to be seen by people because there's less to wade through, is what I'm saying. So that's the new plan. I'll keep it under review and we'll see how we go.